I have walked down these little garden steps time and time again, always with the same goal in mind, spending time with my grandparents. Their home was the setting of my childhood and my mum's. And today, we say goodbye to it. At first, I wasn't sure about sharing such a personal experience online, but then I remembered why this community was forged. A shared love and appreciation for the power of nostalgia and the memories that make us. Like my grandpa fashioning his underpants into a flag to wave out of his bedroom window as I drove past in my first car along that noisy main road. Inside the house, however, is now quiet. This was my first time taking a moment to really look at it empty, but in my mind, it wasn't. Those stairs still echoed with clamours of tiny footsteps of grandchildren, laughter emanated from every room, and the fireplace where we'd leave carrots and mince pies out for Santa still held a glimmer of magic. If you've been here for a while, then you'll already know how influential my grandparents were to me. My nan's fashion sense, her love of colour, yes, she decided on the yellow, her poise and extroverted nature blended beautifully with the homebody that was my grandpa, a gentle soul. I like to think that I'm a blend of both of them. We just weren't able to keep the house, although we deeply wanted to. And so today marks the day I go through my bedroom here and try and see what I can part with. I've had 3 bedrooms within this home's walls. My childhood one, my grandpa's old one after he died, and then my nan's old one when she couldn't get up the stairs anymore. For my entire life, there has always been a place for me here. It is my second home. And so how do you even begin wading through the unassuming everyday relics that tell such a story about their little idiosyncrasies? Of course, many things we won't be parting with, and some of you already know that this CRT television came home with me, but not just to watch Fawlty Towers back to back, but to recreate this moment of hearing my grandpa's voice and seeing his face after so many years.
This is early morning and the mist has come down the mountain and is now on its way back up again. This is the room. There's me filming in the mirror.
Ah, he was indeed the memory maker. Always a camera in his hand and a tape at the ready. Although a lot of these tapes were simply recordings of his favourite films, but I still went through each one diligently, just to make sure. Yes, it was pretty rare that he was in front of the camera. Except on his wedding day, of course. Oh, look at my nan. 19 in a dress her mother made that was a pastel pink. What a trendsetter. 55 years of glorious, flawed, impressive, and ordinary marriage. I can only dream. Finally, we had our first load to transport home, and of course, the pathetic fallacy of it all meant that it was pouring with rain outside. Which we got absolutely drenched in, but we couldn't rest, or even dry off to be honest, because we still had plenty to sort through and countless trips to make to the loft. Once the weather had dried up, I decided to salvage my grandpa's old pond, and many of you already know the little wildlife paradise that I turned this into. The fern also came home with me, and would you believe it's still doing well? All right, it's not as fancy as his big pond that he used to have. Oh, one day I will have a pond just like this one. And with that, another little piece of who they were left for a new beginning. Now, who'd like to see a glimpse of where your girl got her flair for being on camera? Anyone? But first, listen, I'm going to expose myself here. And we're all friends, so be kind, but I could not work out how to open these darn cassette cases. Seriously, this stumped me more than a Rubik's Cube. Okay, fine, I'll allow a couple of comments poking fun at me. But once I was finally in, and I don't dare tell you how long it took me, I quickly read the instructions to my grandpa's old camera and then took a trip to one of my first ever media appearances.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Wait a minute then.
Hello, I'm Hannah Hall and I specialise in dog training. I may be young, but I still know a bit about how to do dog training.
Yep, me and Gramps had custom illustrations, guest appearances, and of course, his expert camera work. Well, now we all know who to blame for my inner performer. Thanks, Gramps. Over the next few days, I kept salvaging all that I wanted to keep, and slowly but surely, the house was feeling emptier, with marks on the walls where photographs used to be. And oh my Nelly, did we have a lot of photographs to go through. This was a huge, sometimes sombre, sometimes painful, sometimes heartwarming part of this process. And I actually managed to find a picture of my mum pregnant with me, which I literally thought didn't exist. And as we trawled through as much as we could, I found another artistic endeavour of mine, being a comedian. Now look, I can't claim that this joke was originally my own work, but I clearly appreciated it enough to write it down.
Who do fish go to see when they're ill? The doctopus. Thank you. These are all right.
As the photo bin got fuller of nondescript photos of places or people we didn't really know, or duplicates of what we already had, so did the shredder, until it actually jammed and stopped working entirely. Luckily, we were pretty much done, and so we masked up and burnt the last few photos along with letters and papers on the fire. Partly because all the bins were pretty much full, but also because it felt quite cathartic to just burn one or two. To treat ourselves for all our hard work, we had one of my grandparents' favourite meals and a true British classic: fish and chips.
Nan. We miss you.
We miss you. And Grandpa. Lots of
And
love.
all the animals. And the dogs. And all
And we're going to miss the house. Basically the house.
All the house.
We're pretty depressed.
All the stuff.
We miss you all.
Miss you, Nan and Gramps. Love you.
Cheers.
Make sure you haunt whoever comes here.
Please excuse my family and their very dry sense of humour. The next time I visited, I came alone. I don't really know why. I simply found my feet walking that way from the gym. And then as I stood there sobbing, I realised that it was to say my own quiet goodbye. Goodbye to my childhood bedroom, where I believed Peter Pan would come and whisk me away to Neverland. Goodbye to my Nan's room and the light pole she'd tug from her bed to switch the light on when Grandpa would arrive with the breakfast tray. I think I now know where I get my Lady of the Manor tendencies. And goodbye to my Grandpa's room, where old film scores would ring out. And yes, Gramps, after all these years, the door still jams. And a strange one here, but goodbye to their bathroom. A room that used to give me such comfort as my PJs waited for me on the radiator and their extraction fan drowned out any outside worries. Although not perfect, I loved this room because after you'd finished, you'd always know that tea and toast was waiting. Goodbye to this banister and the warm parts from years and years of being held as people and dogs and cats all washed up and down these stairs in the flurry of hurry that is everyday life. And the coat cupboard that would always be full. Thanks for giving me one little extra gift to take home with me. And with a smile. Farewell, dearest pantry. There isn't a food anywhere in the world that will taste as good as Nan's chuck-it-all-in soup.
amazing child. Oh, yeah, you could say that. James, I miss you.
She's in such a happy place, isn't she?
Over the last few days of being able to walk through that front door, everything was still pretty much in chaos. And no, for anyone wondering, we did not plan these outfits before we arrived. But our numerous charity shop trips, tip trips, donations, and visits up and down the loft were finally paying off.
What happened? Got my thumb. You what? You where? What, you banged it? Oh no!
The house was almost ready. And so, on the very last day, I checked my grandpa's garage and reminisced about how proud he'd be of all the cars that lived inside. Well, Gramps, I'm now dating a petrol head, so I don't think that notion will leave me for a very long time. One last walk around that garden that felt like a ginormous fairy kingdom to me when I was little, or a deserted island, or a jungle full of dinosaurs. And a little moment for this spot where my grandpa's aquarium used to live, and I'd sit there and watch it for hours. And their heating dial that I'd frequently find myself standing at as they both debated how much to turn it up. Quite unexpectedly, we also found my grandpa's eulogy, and my mum read it aloud to us. And so, as we take one last walk around the place, I thought I'd share it with you, because it really does capture their wonderful little life together.
Dad was a proud, honest, strong, loyal man, kind, sometimes scary, with a wicked sense of humour, always there for each of us, no matter what we got up to, as Dom knows from his younger days. Monday trips where Mum gently but firmly encouraged him to get his wallet out and pay for everyone's dinner. Tina's 50th birthday, Steph and Dad's film nights where they'd watch anything from Norman Wisdom to Rocky to The Great Escape, and she will never forget his early morning calls to her and Hannah to wake them up every morning at 7 a.m, even on the days off. We will remember that front tooth of his that he used to take out to scare boyfriends and later on the grandkids, those faces he pulled and dances he did in tartan PJs to wind Mum up. They made us laugh, but not Mum. And then there was a constant shower of holy water and his immortal words, prayers, that he would shout anywhere at any time, no matter who was there. Dad fought his long illness with dignity, and over this last year surprised us all by getting a passport and visiting Lourdes with his best friend and granddaughter Hannah. And recently a final trip with the family and his loyal dog Harry. Dad was our role model or mentor, and with Mum made each of us who we are today. Enjoy heaven and don't worry, we will look after Mum. Rest in peace, we will love and miss you forever, our very own legend.
Well, there we go. Time to say cheerio, old friend. You have been a lifelong place of safety and unconditional love. You were home, and I will miss you dearly. And to Nan and Gramps, you really were my everything. More than grandparents, you were cherished friends of me and my mum. I dreaded a long time ago the day that I would say goodbye to you both. But just know, your memory walks with me in all that I do. You are the reason I am who I am, the inspiration for my voice on this earth, the reason for this community, and for all my passions and my empathy. So thank you. I hope you keep an eye on me and watch my next chapters with pride.
Hi, we're princesses. No, we're not. The beanbag system. I'll do the beanbag with you. That's a beanbag.